Welcome back, folks. It's Man Sharpens Man, number 17, and this is your host, Stateraised. I don't got Dave with me. He is out touring the wide, wide world of fucking comedy in America, out hitting the roads, looking around. Just a good old boy. Never meaning no harm. You know, I was talking about the Confederate flag. I found out they took it off the General Lee. I don't give a fuck. They did, though. They took it off. Now it's just an orange car. No one's going to recognize it. They're going to think they got painted that color so they didn't get shot during hunting season. That's what it looks like. But welcome back. This is number 17. I've been missing y'all. I thought I would drop a little before Christmas, Merry Christmas, Man Sharpens Xmas episode for y'all because I'm not going to record anymore until after Christmas. I got Santa bringing me some podcasting equipment, and I would really like to wait to record until I get some better equipment. Hell, who knows? I might even put a video feed up on the next one. We're going to see. We're going to see what all Santa comes through on. I'm pretty sure he's a pretty responsible guy, so I'm going to get most of my list. But anyhow, people, welcome back. I'm kind of slowing down here. I had to get a little light going, and I am lighterless, so I'm using the old school matches. You know, once in a while, that old match flavor is just, it's good. It's got a good taste. You know, cigar smokers, I think they're real hell-bent. They only light their cigars with wood or matches or something because they think it gives a taste up through there. I've seen some of that stuff. They get pretty uppity. They get pretty snobby in the cigar world. But there's that snobbishness in every world, isn't there? Once you get real good at something, you become a snobby. A little snobby. We all do it from time to time. I get snobby on things, and then I realize I don't know shit. Anyhow, welcome back to Man Sharpens Man. There is a lot of shit going on, isn't there? All kinds of shit. But what are we going to talk about? Oh, I was watching the guy. I got to tell you guys about this. This is the funniest thing. Just out of the blue, not even in the list. I'm watching Vice News, little promo. I know you guys know what Vice News is. It comes on HBO. That's the old, I'll show you my penis channel, HBO, home box office, the channel that brought you such greats as Fraggle Rock. No one remembers Fraggle Rock. I know you guys don't remember Fraggle Rock. You guys remember fucking Game of Thrones and shit. You don't remember no Fraggle Rock. Fraggle Rock was dope. It was a classic. But yeah, I was watching a little promo for Vice, which is a pretty good news show. They really, you know, they get down in there and they show some news that most news shows wouldn't show, and it's an interesting thing. But during the piece, they got a segment about an arms dealer. And then directly following that, it pops right into a story about an armless guy. And I'm like, who edited this shit, this Vice News promo? You got an armless dude following an arms dealer. You know, when he read that line up before he got there, he was excited. And then when he got there, he was probably disappointed as shit. Hey, where's the arms dealer? Because I'll take 3 or 4, actually. I'm not just going to get 2. I've been armless for a while. I'm going to need no, but the armless guy, he was fucking cool. He could do all kinds of shit. I just watched a little promo, like I said, but he could paint with his feet and draw with his feet, and he could have everything with his feet. You guys already know where old State-Raised Dirty Mind go. I'm like, if I'm footless or armless and doing everything with my foot, can I give myself a foot job? Because you know I've tried. I have tried to foot job myself. It doesn't work. I've kicked myself in the nuts a couple times, which is, like, that's pretty fucking ironic that I can accidentally kick myself in the balls, but I can't give myself a foot job. I don't know if anyone out there is giving themselves a foot job, let me know. That was way before I got the athlete's foot I got now. I would not touch my dick with my monkey paws right now. No, thank you. I gotta wear my socks all the time. My feet are so goddamn ugly. I can make a bunch of ugly foot jokes about my feet. That's how ugly they are. But we're not gonna get into gross feet. Boy, I think I've already told the story of some really gross feet on Man Sharpens Man. So we're not even going to get into the grossest feet in prison, because I could tell you guys, if you haven't listened to the episode, go back through them, read the descriptions. I did a little piece on this dude one time that had the funkiest feet in the world. They were so funky. They were funkier than Rick James. Those motherfuckers were funky. But anyhow, that's not where today. You know what? I did a little show about Alexander Shuglin a while back, and it really got me to studying. Been looking up all kinds of shit about this guy, and he is fucking fascinating. The guy was brilliant. He was actually a really cool dude. A lot of his shit got misused and misdid, and in this chess game called life that we're all playing, it's really hard for all of our moves to be interpreted as good ones when we're skating around. But this dude really did make mostly positive moves, and he's a fucking pretty cool guy. So, like I said, I've been doing some research and stuff on Shuglin there, and it brought me to the point where I thought, you know, this week I'm going to have to, it wasn't just one time, but I'm going to have to tell my listeners about the very first time that I ever smoked weed. Oh, not smoked weed. I'm smoking weed. I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry. Old Stady is not himself today. I'm just getting over a flu, and it's not fun. But anyhow, the very first time I took some LSD in prison. I had a really cool bunkie. I'm not afraid to say his name because he won't get in trouble because someone shot him, unfortunately, right after he got out. But Honeycutt, here's to you floating around above me, helping me do this show. But oh, Honeycutt, my bunkie, he used to be so slick, and they can't do it no more, so I'm not fronting shit off. But we used to get watches in. Like, you pretty much used to be able to have any fucking thing sent up to you when you were in the joint. Not anything, but clothes and watches and books, and I mean, they just had a huge list of care package, love you type items that a sick mom could send her boy that she misses so much. So, there was all kinds of crap, and he used to get watches. That was his thing. And the guy that worked quartermaster was down with the clown, as they say, and he was willing to fucking not put those watches on his property card, which is the card saying, hey, you've already got a watch one time. And the guy working the fucking place just never noticed. So we used to get many watches. He bought more watches than you should buy as a human. But his first watch he got, I was so excited. Do some LSD. I had never done real LSD. I think I tripped on some construction paper back in high school once. But, placebo trip is almost as fun as a real trip, people. So don't judge yourself. If you placebo tripped, hey, it was kind of fun for me. It's probably fun for y'all. But anyhow, I knew I wasn't about the placebo trip because Honeycutt did not fuck around. So we're waiting, and all of a sudden the post comes up where everyone's name is checked off that needs to go to the quartermaster for property, and we look down, and sure enough, cell 21, right there with a big old check mark, and oh man, am I excited. I'm getting that little, I'm going to get high and I got a poop feeling. So I kind of go poop, and I'm pretty excited, and here comes James back from Control Center. That was his first name, Honeycutt's first name. Honeycutt comes back from Control Center quick as he can. He was right back. I mean, he had his property from quartermaster in lightning speed. We pop in the room, bust the watch open, 10 really nice hits of fucking acid, paper acid, right in the back of his watch, all stuffed in there, nicely packaged. So, we're in prison and we're conservative, and it has been a long time since we've done anything, so we know. Just tear one in half to begin with. Let's cut one in half. So we, nothing in prison is easy. There's nothing in prison. We don't just grab some fucking scissors or something. You can't tear this shit, not feel safe about it. So we went through the fucking long and drawn-out process of busting open a fucking razor and getting the fucking blade out of it. And then we were off. We split that hit using that little razor blade, and we took it. And I knew. I said, this is not fake acid. This is not fake acid. I know it's not. And then about 5-10 minutes into it, I could feel something. I could just feel the little hairs on the back of my neck starting to stand up. And I was feeling pretty fucking happy. And then probably 20-30 minutes into it, I was feeling, not gay love, but I was feeling a lot of love for my bunkie because he had gotten me this acid. I felt kind of free. I felt like I was getting happy. I knew it was a buzz. I knew it was an internal freedom, but, to me, that was a fucking valuable thing. So I didn't care, so I was just riding with it, and it was fucking great. It was great. I was not eating my arm or having horrible hallucinations. There's a lot of misleading, misnomer, mispropaganda out there by the government where they make motherfuckers think you take some acid and you're just going to flip out. If you take actual LSD, some good LSD, in the proper setting, you know what? I'm going to take that away. If you just take some real decent LSD, not some old bullshit bath salts or some bootleg shit, if you take some real LSD, you're going to have a fucking pleasant experience for the most part. Now, you might be able to, like my first trip, you may want to say that it wasn't a pleasant, but I thought it was very pleasant. It was very fucking weird, but let me continue on. So I'm sitting in there in the cell, and I'm really starting to feel this stuff, and I'm feeling happy, and everything is just looking better. Like, things are looking up. I have 9.5 years left in prison, but I don't care. That's not that much. That's a little drip. It's only a moment, and I almost convinced myself that if I just relax for a second, I can push that time through. Just push it through. So I'm just sitting there enjoying the different waves of just great emotions that are pouring over me. And then that urgency to poo comes back on, and oh man, I got to take a dump so bad. So I tell Honeycutt that I'm taking a dump, and he says something to me, but it sounds like a bunch of clicks or little ticks. It doesn't sound like he's actually talking. So I thought that he was kind of fucking with me, and I don't think he was now. I really think that I was just hearing a different little fucking frequency at the point. But anyhow, he ticked and clicked at me a little bit, and I smiled and waved at him, and I didn't speak ticks or clicks, so I went on out. And at the prison I was at, there was no bathrooms in the cell. You had to go out into a central day room, and then there was like a public bathroom in there, and you had to go in there. Oh, Itz is joining me for the podcast here. There's my cat, Itz. I'm not going to be able to get him shut up, so we're just going to embrace his mew. He'll be quiet in a second. People, stick with me. But anyhow, I go down to go to the bathroom after I hear him click because, I just think he's telling me goodbye. And I go and I sit in the bathroom and I take one of the most healthiest cleansing poops, and in my mind I tell myself, man, this is this is cleansing you. Like, I convince myself that this is one of the best poops that I ever have. And this poop is some of the time that I'm doing. I'm pooping out some of the time. So I'm sitting there, and I'm just tripping on that fact, and I'm enjoying the fact that I'm just able to shit out part of this bit that I'm doing, and I won't, I won't be stuck doing as much time. I'm thinking I'm pooping some of it out. It's working out fabulously. I'm so happy with Honeycutt. I'm just contemplating what a good friend he is, and boy, it's just great on the toilet. I'm just sitting there in a real blissful state. I actually got real lucky, and I got the toilet that had a window so I could see out into the courtyard, and all of a sudden it was so peaceful out there. There was nobody out there. It was so quiet all of a sudden, and I went from watching everyone run around and kick the ball to just, peaceful, empty courtyard, with a basketball rolling around on the court and stuff like that, and it just, that really set my mind to wandering, and I started thinking about, basketball and all that shit, and just the impermanence of life, and how when we all go away and die, there'll probably still be basketballs rolling around on courts and stuff like that somewhere, and I just was contemplating weird shit. But then all of a sudden, I got this feeling that I'd maybe pooped too good. Because pooping time, that's not right. You're not supposed to poop time. So I started contemplating things like dark matter and gravity and the ability of a human to actually poop some time out. And then, being alone and not having someone to kind of tell me different, I kind of convinced myself that I may have injured my asshole while I was pooping. I may have ruptured my booty while I was pushing this time out, because it's not the same as pooping. I wasn't prepared for it, and I got greedy, and I shouldn't have done it, and I was being very self-judging, and I reached down and I started, this is super gross, TMI time. I'm always going to TMI you guys because I TML you. I too much love. So sometimes I gotta give you TMI so you can get the whole fucking thing. But I reach in the toilet and I flush a few times, of course. I'm not playing in my poop. I'm not a savage, people. But I flush a couple times and I reach in the toilet and I rinse my butt. And then I flush again and I clean my hand and I start touching my butthole to check what kind of damage I've done with this time poop that I've taken, because I'm sure I've done some damage. Well, then all of a sudden, there is a fucking abrupt knock on the door, and a prison guard whose name was Rudy Guana. Motherfucking Rudy Guana, if you somehow are listening to this, man, I love you, man. You made prison a lot more bearable by not being a bitch. But anyhow, he beat on the door, and he's like, Little John, that's what they call me in there, Little John or LJ. They said, Little John, what you doing in there, man? Why you in the bathroom? It's fucking count time. And I said, what? Rudy, it's fucking, what? And I started getting really scared because nobody doesn't go to their cell at count time. You go to the hole for that. That's not like some just, oops, I didn't know. They just put you in the hole for that. They don't take any chances. They just say, fuck you. You're going to the hole, homie. So I start, instantly thinking, oh boy, this is not going to be fun. I'm going to be tripping in the hole. Well, Rudy calms me down instantly by saying, hey, just run to your cell, buddy, and I'll mark you in. But it's been count time for almost 20 minutes, he tells me. It wouldn't clear, and Control Center called me and said that I had miscounted, so I told him I'd go recount, and I'm going to take this one for you, man. But go get in your goddamn cell. So I ran to my cell, and he made like he had just not seen me, and I didn't get in trouble, which was cool, but I was still tripping. So I went back to my cell, and I explained to my bunkie that I was pretty sure that I had shit a piece of time out, part of my bit, and I might be getting out at the same time as him. Well, he clicked a little bit, and then he started laughing, and that made me know for sure that, I was wrong. I knew it. His clicks, I could understand this time, and he told me that I was wrong. And so I'm like, damn it, I didn't shit out my time. But I didn't feel that bummed out. You think that I would instantly, because I had convinced myself that I'd shit out at least 7 or 8 years. I thought I had rid my bowels of time. I don't know how it works. But it was a great time. So anyhow, started talking to Honeycutt again. All of a sudden, I could understand his clicks, and we were having a good conversation. And I'm not sure if I was clicking to him and we was clicking to each other, or if maybe we were just talking. But we sat and we just chit-chatted and talked all day. I mean, we talked all fucking day. And it was a great fucking acid trip. And I'm sure that we talked about some of the most ridiculous shit. And we just sat in our cell. We didn't go outside. We didn't do shit that first trip. We just ended up sitting in the cell for the rest of it. But the first hour of it was a pretty fucking intense trip. And sitting there and clicking with Honeycutt was a fucking great time. I wish that dude was still fucking alive. But he got out of prison, and he got fucking smoked. And he got fucking shot in the back. He went and got an honest job at Applebee's, and he was walking home from work down in Flint. And someone tried to rob him and shot him in the back. But he was the kind of motherfucker that did not take shit from no one. So I can kind of see where maybe the person fucking I mean, I don't fucking accept that the motherfucker shot him, don't get me wrong, I'm just saying I know why, because Honeycutt would not take no shit even if he wasn't armed. He'd be like, fuck you, dog. So, missing a good friend there, Honeycutt. State Ray's getting a little choked up on you guys flashing back here. I gotta tell you know what? I'm gonna tell you a Christmas story. We're gonna do two prison stories today, because there's another funny one. Don't worry, I'm not gonna run out because I did two today. There's not a shortage of these. There's a fucking deep well of fucking prison life. I was in there for 11 years. Don't worry, stay tuned. There's plenty more. So I'm not gonna run out because I do two. But here's the second one. Since it's Christmas time, my second Christmas in prison. There's many things surrounding my second prison in Christmas, but one of the most notable, and maybe now I can say funny. Time plus tragedy equals comedy, so maybe now I'll say it's funny, but quite a few people got stabbed that Christmas. And it was all because the administration, I don't know, they were either dumb or smart or they were something. I don't know what they were up to that year, but they decided that a little unorthodox Christmas was in order, and we all needed some cheering up, and they were going to give us T-bone steaks. Hell yeah. Isn't that sweet? T-bone steak for Christmas. We don't get steak in there. That is a far gone thing. Not only were they going to give us T-bone steak, they gave us these little plastic knives to attempt cutting it. We all ate it by hand, of course, because they were the toughest fucking T-bone steaks in the world. And maybe now you're wondering to yourself, you're thinking, did they use those plastic knives to go stab each other? No, they didn't. They're not stupid. Those things don't work at all. They used the fucking T-bone. I don't think very many T-bones made the trash that day. Every single person, when you're in prison, you look at things differently. You look at a T-bone after you've eaten the meat off it, and you think, this would be perfect to kill someone. I don't condone thinking like that. I'm just saying, that's what comes to your mind. We are going to do an episode one day, people, where I teach you about all the homemade shanks I can make. Holy fuck. Happy Shanksmas. Maybe that's what we'll call this. Merry Shanksmas. We'll come up with a name for it when I'm not talking, but let me finish. So anyhow, everyone takes their friggin' T-bone home. And all of a sudden, after Christmas, well, they gave us the meal during Christmas pretty much. I don't think there was a stabbing on Christmas, but all the way up until January 1st, there were so many bone stabbings. It was ridiculous. It was like a fucking 3.5, 4-inch bone with a fucking handle. It was already sharp pretty much. It was the worst thing to give us. And then at Christmas time, everyone's a little pouty, a little down. They're missing their baby's mamas and shit like that. So, it was a fucking pretty crazy Shanksmas. Boy, I cannot talk. Oh, I just found this. This is some sad shit in our animal section. I'm not gonna bring you down with it. We'll joke about it a little bit, but fucking meerkats are murderers. They're murderous. Some meerkats. Meerkat Manor, a fucking farce. It's a farce. There's murder and deceit and lies. It's like a soap opera with meerkats. They kill each other. Like they say 30% of meerkat deaths are because of other meerkats killing you. So you have like a 30% chance of being murdered as a meerkat. That is like living in Ohio. That is fucked up, man. And meerkats are awesome. They're so cute and smart. It just shows you that intelligence always isn't a great thing. If you don't do the right thing with it, you end up being a meerkat, killing other meerkats. So do the right thing with your brains. Don't be fighting people. Man, I hope we don't get in a war. Do you people hear me? I hope we don't get in a war. I ain't going to do a bunch of warmongering and fear speaking, but boy, oh boy, this is a turbulent time we live in. How can it be now? And people are still warring, and they're still in that kind of frame of mind. I have no idea, but they're still warring. They are still warring like crazy. And we only got a few more days, and old Trumpy will be up in there, so we'll see. This is going to be a unique thing. Everyone's all the. See, I don't want people to get it wrong. Sometimes I talk about politics, and I wonder, am I going to really turn people off with this politic talk? You know what? I hope I'm not, because really, it's like me talking about a fucking NFL game or something. I'm not going to jump in there and play. I don't think I'm that cat. I'm talking about something that's not even a good analogy. Whatever. I'm talking about something I could give a fuck about, really, but it provides me with so much fucking information and interesting bullshit. It's just so ironic, and they're so stupid, and I'm trying to be a little bit funny. How could I not fucking look over there when I got people acting like fucking giant jackasses and clowns over in the corner? There's endless fucking pit of funny shit to talk about when you look at Donald Trump and his gang of fucking doodads and his who-nots. And same with Hillary. And that's what I'm saying. The whole fucking government is just a big fucking waste of money, just circle jerk. I could come up with a bunch of names. They're just basically just ego stroking faggots. They all suck. They're not doing anything. And they're all super old people. We need to switch that. Like, I'm kind of old. I'm getting up there, but I really feel like we need some young people in government. Some people that are going to care about what their decisions might do to them, like, later. Like, I understand the whole wisdom, you get wiser. I'm wiser than I was. I would govern better now than I would when I was 20, but that doesn't mean I don't want the advice of a 20-year-old. So we need to mix that shit in there. We need to mix it up. Because the politics are too one-sided with just people that are on the fucking verge of the grave, taking my so damn old I'm about to die pills. We need to get them people evened up. We need some kind of evenness. There needs to be, a dude with a fucking mohawk up in there, some young kid just stirring shit up and saying no, or saying yes, or saying whatever. But I really think it needs a youth injection. There's a lot of laws in place that fucking say you can't be in politics unless you're a certain age and this and that. And that shit was written by the people that were a certain age at a certain time. It's very old information. It needs to be adjusted. Let's adjust it, people. But I'm not going to adjust it. I'm just going to whine about it because it's funny. All right, let's get on to something way more funnier. I just wanted to apologize for my political mumbling a little bit there, and I got kind of lost in politically mumbling some more. That's how it goes. It's just a fucking trap. It's a sand pit. You just step in there, and it's like, I'm not trying to offend people. I don't want people to think I give a shit, really. I want you all to know that old Stateraised is firmly lodged in the gives no fucks camp. Like, I gives no fucks about that politics. Those motherfuckers took me out of their game. They locked me up for some bullshit a long time ago. So, I don't play their fucking game. I've seen what the players are. I've seen the rules. It's not fair. It's all stacked. It's a bunch of shit. So I'm not playing. I don't think that joining them in their game is going to somehow one day change the game, They're not taking my knees out just so they can fucking play their shitty game. So, I don't give no fucks about politics, and anything you hear, namaste. I super fucking apologize for in a way, but I don't apologize for in another way. I don't want you guys to not love old Stateraised, but at the same time, I'm not apologizing for what I say, because I truly feel that way about both of them dinguses. They're both fucking dinguses, as Steve Brule would say. You dingus. They're both some fucking dinguses, and that's it. And one of them lost, and one of them won, and one of them wanted a recount, because she can't figure anything else to do with the fucking time. Jill Stein, you goddamn dummy. All right, let's get moving. Oh, joke of the week. Old joke of the week. Woo, woo. Old joke of the week. My mom recently went to Pennsylvania to visit my cousin who's a biker. So, that being said, I was thinking about that while she was gone, and I remembered this old joke that my dirty Uncle Chuck told me. Probably when I was too young to hear this joke, but here it goes. There's an old lady, and she decides that she wants to join a biker gang. So she goes and buys a fucking nice Harley. She's got insurance from her dead husband. So she goes and buys a nice Harley. And she gets herself some leathers. And she gets all the nicer things for fucking motorcycle riding. And takes some courses. And she's pretty handy with the thing. She takes right up with it. And she's pretty good at riding the thing around. And then she decides, I need to go find a club. And she knows this local bar where all the ones hang. She knows it's a badass biker club. But she wants to be down. She wants to ride with them. She wants to feel the wind in her hair. She wants to go feel that freedom that they talk about. So she goes down there. And she goes in and she says, hey, you motherfuckers, where's the fucking head dog? And they look at her kind of fucking smirking and they point over and they said, hey, it's Big Charlie over there. Go holler at him. So she walks over there and she hitches her pants up a little bit as she steps up to him, and he barely leans to glance at her from the bar. And he says, what do you want, old woman? And she says, I want to join your biker gang here. He says, you need to get out of here, old woman. You don't know what this is about. It's too much for you. She says, no, I got a hog out in the parking lot. I've been studying. I know how to drive. I'm ready. I want to join your gang. It's my bucket list. Come on, man. Let me ride with you. What do you have to lose? And he's like, look, old lady, you don't know what we're into. And this ain't just riding. This is a lifestyle. I mean, have you ever been picked up by the fuzz? And she says, no, but I have been swung around by my tits a couple times. And there's your old joke of the week. Mom, have you been swung around by your tits a couple times? We are gonna. That's how I play with mom. I love that I have such an open. If you don't have an open relationship with your mom, work on that shit, because that shit is fun. When I started, fucking with my mom and dad on a different level where it was like we became friends, it was so much better of a life. So if you're out there with like a teenager in your life and you don't know why you can't get along with this dude or chick, be their friend. Like, the stuff they listen to and the stuff they do, don't get me wrong, it's probably going to be gay as hell. It's probably going to be so fucking stupid, their music, all of it. But just, feign an interest as much as you can. But you can't really feign an interest, be interested in the pieces you can find that are interesting. There's always something, but if you be friends with them kids, that's where it's at, man. That's some good advice from old Stateraised today. That's your little advice. But like I said, I'm going to keep this one short, because it's my last episode, just recording on the old iPad bootleg style here. So I'm just kind of refueling through my mind to make sure there's nothing I haven't talked about that I wanted to talk on. No, I don't think there is nothing. But you guys make sure you come back right at the first of the year because I have a fucking huge episode. I've actually been writing it. I've been writing this episode. I've got quite a bit of stuff on paper. It looks great. It's going to be my first one. I don't have a... Don't worry, it's not going to be a script where you're going to listen to me, like, read some words that I memorized or some shit like that. It's definitely going to be just more... I'm not going to tell you guys no more. I'm just fucking babbling. It's boring. Yada, yada. I actually... You know, when you haven't wrote for a long time and you start writing, like, what a fucking retard. I look like a fucking caveman. I'm just, like, scribbling with a crayon in my fist almost. It's fucking... You really, if you don't write very often, you really start to lose that shit. I haven't written in a long time. I've been doing mostly typing. Well, I've been doing only typing. I haven't wrote nothing. So I started writing. I couldn't read my own shit. I had to slow myself down and scold myself. I almost made myself, like, do the 100-sentence thing. You know, I'd probably cheat at that even if I made myself do it. All right, well, we need to... I am sorry, people. I'm sorry I'm rambling. Let's wrap this up. For Man Sharpens Man, I'm State Raised. We're going to get Dave back soon. Peace, pot, and microdot.